A is for Adiputra. Hey Mr. A, even though neither of us were in yearbook very often this year, I still really appreciate you being willing to and taking the time to talk to me when I passed by your playground duty time and your PE classes. Whether it was me ranting about school, the two of us cracking dumb jokes together, you were always so positive and willing to talk to me. Thank you for always being so genuine and fun to be around, especially during yearbook. I remember the times when we roasted everyone and when we came up with nicknames for people, including myself. I really appreciate all 21 layers of our friendship, and I will definitely miss you and the gang a lot next year.
Hi Mrs. V, thank you so much for teaching us. Although it wasn't very long, you still taught us, and at least me, a lot. I not only learned the techniques behind sketching and art, but I also learned to see different perspectives to everything through the art techniques that you taught us. Also, thank you so much for allowing our class to have a new tradition of creating tiles so that we can leave a piece of ourselves on the wall of Morrison Academy. The process of creating the tiles allowed me to create a lot of memories. Again, thank you so much for teaching us during our high school years at Bethany.
C is for Mr. Cablish. Thank you for being our high school counselor. With our class of 2021 being the first class to graduate from Morrison Taipei, Bethany, you were a big part of our journey. Thank you for helping us with our college applications in the beginning of the year and sorting through all sorts of complications. Thank you for keeping us on track and also teaching us senior topics. I hope you the best in the future, and thank you again for helping us through our journey to graduation. God bless you.
D is for Coach Darren Portal. Thank you for teaching me that can never could, and if I think I'll lose, I've lost already. I'll always remember those things. And actually remember the first time I saw you. It was the summer before 6th grade, and me and a couple of other kids were peeping through the blinds in the cafeteria, and we saw you in the gym throwing these alley-oops to these really tall guys to dunk with. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, this bald guy, he's pretty cool. I can't believe he's gonna be my PE teacher. And now, flash forward 7 years later, I'm not a 6th grader anymore, and you're not bald either, but I still think you're really amazing. I look up to you and Miss Dana so much, and I'll definitely miss having class parties at your house, just the days in and day ins and outs of sports practices, and I might even miss you lightly reprimanding me after I took a Bertina day. But I think most of all, I'll miss being your adopted daughter and just sharing a laugh with you. Thank you for the past 7 years and how loved you always made me feel. I've had a real blast with you, Mr. Flectel.
E is for Esther Chen. Thank you, Ms. Chen, for being our homeroom teacher during our senior year and my first math teacher here at Morrison. Thank you for always working hard, especially in Stuco, and having to be the bridge between the students and the school. I was really encouraged by your words when there were problems within Stuco, and I really admire how optimistic you are in every situation. Although our class is so loud and chaotic, thank you for always having fun with us. Thank you for always thinking about our class and planning the best for our class. Thank you for planning our mission trip, which became our last class trip. We will miss you a lot, and I hope you live happily ever after with your husband.
F is for 费老师. Thank you for lighting in me my passion for Chinese literature and introducing so many amazing books to me. I still remember all the jokes that Hai Tun, Wen Yu, and I came up with you during our first years in your class. I don't think I'll ever forget Mr. Ganlong, Qianlong Huangdi, nor why we should always treasure our 美好时光, or when Ashley sent a paper airplane straight into your forehead. 借一句白居易的诗，令公桃李满天下，何用堂前更种花。谢谢费老师这些年的教导 ，and I'll miss you.
G is for Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia, thank you so much for all your hard work that you have put into this band for like the past 2 years. And honestly, I really respect you a lot as a band teacher and as a composer. And I can really see you putting in the passion and hard work into everything that you do for this job. You try so hard to help us, the students, and you always think how the band could improve, which is something that I really look up to.
H is for Mrs. Xiao. That still feels so wrong saying it, so I will stick with Miss Tang. Miss Tang, I've known you since we were back in Tika, and just by saying Tika, there's so many memories you could talk about and just share. I never thought I'd be seeing you again in MAT, and that's also been such a blessing. Miss Tang, I've never got to see you as often since I was in high school and you're in elementary, but every time I do see you in the morning or just sometime throughout the school, you come running to me, give me a hug, or just say something sweet, or ask me how I was doing and just check up on me. And that's something that's been so encouraging to me. I know I'll miss you a lot. I'm also very thankful that it was you who'd come sub in for Miss Myberg's advisory when she was too busy to be there. Thank you for just being there. Thanks for all that you've been doing for us, and I know I'll miss you a lot.
Hi, Miss Yi. I'm Josephine from 12th grade, and I want to thank you for handling our money and being so kind to everyone. 辛苦了，要身体健康。
J is for Jason. Thank you so much for the past 2 years. Every time I needed something in school, you always got me, like chargers, mice. Every single time I go to you, you just like give it to me, and it's pretty nice. So I'm gonna miss you a lot, and hopefully I'll come back and see you still around at school.
K is for Mr. and Mrs. Klump. Thank you guys for everything that you have done to make learning so much more enjoyable for those who are lucky enough to take a class. Although I wasn't the most excited about learning back then, given that it probably took me on average of half a day every single day to stop self-isolating at the beginning of the school year, I am very grateful for all the fun memories that we've shared, from making ice cream in the classroom, dressing up as pilgrims, going out on field trips, and of course, taking naps. Thank you both for the incredible amount of support, encouragement, love, and patience that you've demonstrated throughout these years, from the first time we met 13 years ago to our last chapel together merely weeks ago. Thank you.
L is for Mr. Liao. 已经认识了13年, and you bullied me a lot, but I appreciate you always showing me care and asking how my family's doing constantly. 所以谢谢, and I hope I'll come back and see you again.
M is for Miss Monty, who I am thankful for. Thank you for being my mentor, my English teacher, and my government teacher over the 3 years that I was in Morrison. You may not remember, but your words and advices from our mentor session encouraged me a lot, and my personality became more optimistic and extroverted. I learned a lot from you, not only the advices about adjusting to Morrison and making new friends here, but the classes and topics that you taught were always interesting to me. You made the classes fun by adding in projects and activities, and making the interactive project was especially fun for me. I really appreciate that you focused on each of us, cared for us, and listened to us. I also really appreciate that you invited all of us to your parents' house for Thanksgiving's meal. Even though I won't be able to go, I was touched by how much you think of us. Thank you for being a great teacher, and I'll never forget you. Bye. I'll miss you.
N is for Nelson Leung. Mr. Leung, I was tempted to call you Nelson in this video, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. And that's because I will always see you as a teacher and a mentor because you have taught me so much in life. Of course, I see you as my homie as well, but I feel that you're always the one that's helping me with my problems. Thank you for playing video games with me, encouraging me to go to church, and taking me and Joe to the Vietnamese restaurant every Sunday after church. I appreciate you for setting an example for me and showing me what it's like to be joyful in Christ. I admire how you're able to find hope and even joy in really unfavorable conditions, like when your wallet got stolen or whenever you're going through a rough health condition. I also appreciate the opportunities that you have given to me to lead in worship and be there. I will also miss the after-school talks that we had. I've laughed, cried, made jokes with you, and shared personal things with you during those sessions. I would definitely take what I've learned from you and apply it to my daily life in college. And yeah, thank you for being so awesome. And thank you for supporting me all these years and teaching me so much.
J is for Mr. Joshua Smith, who I'll be reminded of whenever I have Boston butt, chocolate digestives, or if I ever encountered an episode of Taskmasters. And when this happens, I'll laugh because I'll think of all the good memories we've shared. From watching you drive up Busan with one hand on the steering wheel and the other on the dumping box, to most recently when you came up to me asking for my apology after you provoked Ashish, even though I had no idea this even happened. Thank you for teaching me how to use InDesign, Photoshop, etc., and even occasionally reminding me how to turn on the laptop or the computer. I really miss you, Mr. Sparkles.
P is for Peggy Wan. Thank you, Mrs. Wan, for teaching us in middle school, teaching us math and Bible. Thank you for disciplining us even though we were all so naughty. Thank you for being my mentor, and thank you for being our advisor, the girls' advisor in 9th grade. Thank you for always saying hi to us in the hallways and also joining us in the breakfast club. Thank you for supporting us and encouraging us along this journey. Thank you, we love you, and we'll miss you, Mrs. Wan.
Yeah, it's filming. Go ahead.
R is for Roslyn Chen. Miss Chen, thank you for being such a hardworking teacher who carefully planned out the whole course since the beginning of the year. Thank you for always trying to make class fun by incorporating activities such as simulations or escape rooms into the course to help us learn better. I really appreciate how you always encourages us and gives us advice to improve. I am also really grateful that you always listen to our questions and try to answer them to the best of your abilities. Even though you have only been at Morrison for 1 year, I am really glad that I could be your student this year and that I will miss you next year.
Hello, Ms. Rigg. I would like to thank you for teaching us biology in 9th grade and also taking us to bio or Penghu trip. Thank you so much for the fun times and activities we had in biology class, especially the pig heart one. That was my favorite, even though the smell was pretty awful. Oh yeah, and I also enjoyed the time when we had to write our parody songs about biogeochemical cycles. Kilo Contables was my favorite. Anyways, thank you so much for brightening up our 9th grade year and also being patient with us. Thank you and God bless you.
S is for Sylvia Wool, the best music teacher I've ever met. Thank you for all of these years of music. Ever since you invited me into junior orchestra back in 3rd grade, I've always looked up to you. Finishing college in 2 to 3 years, that's insane. Not everyone can do it. I always see how you work so hard for us and working yourselves to the bone preparing for concerts and music festivals. Somehow the fatigue doesn't show, and I'm really envious for that. One specific instance I want to share about is your magnesium treatment. I was really curious and I asked the doctor about it, and he told me it was extremely painful. but you were able to get through that through God's grace. And when I saw you back in the small classroom next to the NPR, I was really happy. You always encouraged me and complimented me, and I'm always super grateful to be your student. Since this video has a time restriction, I can't say that many things, but I just want to say thank you for making this school so much more enjoyable.
T is for Mrs. Terry Pike. Mrs. Pike, you've been there for me since I first transferred to Bethany, when I was most unfamiliar and vulnerable within the new environment of a new international school, since I've just transferred from a local Taiwanese school. You practically built the foundation of all my English knowledge, and if it weren't for you, I probably still wouldn't be able to write a grammatically correct and fluent essay. I remember the good old times with Gilbert and ELL, and your classes have been benefiting to me in more ways than one, regardless if it were for the English class or the course of religions and worldviews. I am thankful not only of the academic knowledge that you have so patiently bestowed upon me, but also for the emotional transition, support, and understanding that you have given me since I first transferred to Bethany. On this day near my graduation, I just want to say thank you for everything that you have done for me personally and for my class, and I wish you nothing but happiness and comfort with your family. Thank you!
As for Susanna and Robert, the M was already taken, and you were one of the only people in Morrison with the letter U in your name, so I decided to go with the letter. Anyways, I'm thankful that I get to be the one to show my gratitude towards you. Thank you for being a great mentor to me in more ways than one. Although you never taught any of my classes, I think you're one of the people at Morrison that I learned the most from. You set an example for what a great leader should be like and act like, and I feel like I was able to learn from you and use that as I took on the role of student council president. I hope you find adjusting to your new job easy, and I wish you for a smooth transition.
This one goes out to Mr. Vanderhoek. I just want to say that I really appreciate everything that you've taught me. I appreciate you as my advisor. You were someone who I was always able to talk to, and you were always willing to listen to me about my problems. I also want to thank you for teaching me in government and English, but not only academically teaching me, also teaching me to be a better human being, better person when I'm having conversations with people who may disagree with me. I'm always going to miss going off topic in class and talking about proxy wars in order to distract you so we don't have to do classwork. But in all seriousness, I'm going to miss you a lot, and the next time we meet, whether it be in 5 days or 10 years, I will do the Merchant of Venice speech for you perfectly. I'm going to miss you a lot. Have a great summer. Thank you for everything.
W is for Miss Anna Wskiaski. Also, thank you for tolerating me and our Chinese class. I know there will be many times when we were loud or misbehaved. Even then, thank you for always being so willing to discipline us and teach us to be better children. I know I'm gonna miss a lot of our Chinese classes. I know I used to look forward to it. And thank you for also being my mentor back in 10th grade. I know back then I needed a lot of support and guidance. Thanks for always being there and willing to listen to me and help me through. Thank you, and I'll miss you a lot.
X is for 谢谢小哥, Mr. Hang. Thank you for the incredible amount of time and effort that you've put into teaching us in class, mentoring us in advisory, and of course, coaching us on the court. I remember very vividly our first chemistry test that we took. Like half of our class failed. Now fast forward 5 years, and we took our final AP Chem test. This time, hopefully we'll pass. I also remember our 8th grade volleyball season, and we finally played somewhat like a team thanks to you. And I'm also thankful for how you've always challenged us to become the best version of ourselves, not just on the court, but perhaps more importantly off of it in the way that we interact with each other. You have become so much more than just a teacher, and I'll always remember the advice that you have given me throughout the years for relationships. It's time, Mr. Hang, but also for college. It's definitely been a long journey, and I'm glad that you were a part of it and made it so much more memorable. I pray that our volleyball team hopefully get to meet one last time before we depart, but regardless, I wanted to thank you on behalf of the class of 2021.
Y is for Mrs. Ye. Hello, Ye 老师. How have you been doing lately? It's been a while ago when I was a student in Chinese class. I can still remember all the fun activities and gossip we had as a class. It's great having you as our Chinese teacher. Although I may not remember all the lessons in class, I will definitely remember all the silliness and laughter we had together. 最后也想谢谢叶老师对 School Plus 以及其他社团的支持与帮助。相信毕业后的大家都会想念我们的叶老师。我们以后一定会再见，拜拜。
Z is for Jack Sawyer. Hey, Mr. Sawyer. I want to say how thankful I am for having you throughout this journey at MAT. Thank you for being such an amazing math teacher, a friend, and a mentor. I really enjoyed the talks that we had over lunch about me rambling about school life or just family stuff. It's a real blessing to know that I have a person that I can look up to, and that's you. Also, I want to thank you for your leadership during our 8th grade trip and our Yushan hiking trip. I also want to wish you a smooth transition taking on the role as principal at MAT. I pray that you will keep being the salt and light that you are in the MAT community.